Hello and welcome to this episode of Conscious Design. I'm your host, Ian Peterman, and author of the Conscious Design book. And with me today, I have Marina Tran-Vu, founder of EQUO, working to replace all of the disposable plastic utensils that we love, sort of, and pick a more eco-friendly option for us out there. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so I'd love for you to start with what got you down this journey of deciding to tackle disposable plastic silverware?
That's a very good question. It wasn't something that I was really, I would say, involved in previously. I don't think I woke up one day and was like, I gotta solve this straw or fork,
Right.
problem. Yeah, it just kind of happened because I moved over to Vietnam about 3 years ago. Didn't really intend to stay in the country for that long. Was only supposed to stay for about a year. When I first moved, had no friends here.
Yeah.
So I was a little lonely. And so what I did was I spent a lot of time in cafes. And in one of the cafes I went to in Vietnam, they had this like green thing in my drink. And I was like, what is this? Because I had only ever seen at that point, maybe paper straws. And then I would see mostly plastic straws. So I was like, what is this floating in my drink? And it turned out to be a grass straw. So that was kind of my first
Oh,
experience with a product or with a straw that was not made of paper or plastic. And so my curious mind kind of went from there and was like, okay, I got to learn more about this category, why this isn't everywhere, because it seems like a great, solution that's made from natural materials. You can throw it outside and it would still decompose, unlike, plastic or paper. So that's really kind of
right.
what jumped the whole idea.
Oh, that's awesome. So now you've expanded, right? You've started gone beyond just straws. So can you talk a little bit about that evolution of starting with one and now you're growing quite a bit, it seems. So, which is great. It's good. It's good. More people are wanting it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we started off with the grass straw, really, that's because it was the first product I experienced. And then we moved on to add in the rice straw. And we really like the rice straw because, it has edible properties. It comes in multicolor, which is cool. So you can actually eat it after you use it in your drink if you want to, if you're really that hangry, you can go ahead and do that. And then we started to add more products to our portfolio. So that included sugarcane, coffee, coconut. And people kind of ask, like, why would you add so many products to your portfolio and so many different materials? And I would say it's kind of that exploratory phase where everyone wants to be sustainable, but we really don't know what the limits are in terms of sustainability or what the options are. And so why not expose everyone to all that? I think we didn't settle on plastic for decades, because everyone was trying to find that perfect material. So I thought, same sort of thing with a sustainable alternative to single-use plastic. Let's explore all the different options and let people choose for themselves.
Right. So you're kind of running an experiment to see which material actually wins the popularity vote almost.
Popularity, and I would say durability vote too. It's one of
Okay.
those things that we learn as we go. And one of the biggest
Right.
things I learned is a grass or rice straw is amazing and really cool. But, when it comes to expectations from certain people, and people have wild expectations about their straws, oddly enough,
Yeah,
you
they
know,
do.
it's gonna stay in my drink and it's gonna last for, a couple hours, and I can chew on it, bend on it, I can twist and turn it, and it should still be, really, really great as a product. And that doesn't do so well for something like a piece of grass that you put in your drink because I'll crunch, it'll break down very quickly. Or it may not do well for a product that is edible, like a rice straw, where, if it's edible, ideally if it touches water or liquid, it should break down. Otherwise you're eating like a Big Mac, which won't break down
Right.
in liquid. So, or so we've seen in certain experiments. So that's really something that we found quite interesting.
Okay. And is there one that's a favorite of yours that you've found that works really well as a material that you really like working with, or that people kind of just seem to like, or is closer to, I guess, close to normal?
Yeah. The closest one to normal, I would say, is probably for a lot of people is the sugarcane straw. Just because
Really?
it's a light pale color. It's very flexible. It has a nice
Okay.
little sweet aroma actually. And it comes in a lot of different sizes, and you can literally put it into a drink for about 72 hours before it starts to break down. Though I don't really know why you would want to drink a drink after 72 hours, but people have
Well,
tested it.
well, there are those
People,
people that have their cup and they have their straw and like refill it with water for like 2 days straight before
absolutely.
they're like, maybe I should get rid of this.
Yeah, or the people who have it like inside their tumblers in the car. They have that giant one in
Yeah,
their car,
yeah.
and they're like, I'm just gonna sip on this, and I want to keep my straw in there, and which is totally fine too. So the sugarcane one is extremely popular for us. Coming in second is the coffee one, which is exactly
Okay.
the same as sugarcane, but it actually smells like coffee. And oddly enough, I didn't know that there are people that existed in this world that don't like the smell of coffee. So that's why it's a
Oh,
little bit less popular than the sugarcane one. So
interesting. Yeah, I would have figured caffeine, the smell of coffee would have been more popular from a smell standpoint, but
that's what I thought too. But yeah, there are some people who adamantly don't like coffee. Maybe the tide's shifting to tea or something, So yeah, we've had some feedback on that. And then my personal favorite is the coconut straw, just because it's really solid. It's really really
okay,
solid. So that's the reason why I like that one.
nice. And and so I looked through your products. You have utensils as well. You expanded into it, and then bags. So tell me a little bit
Mhm.
how what got you to go, okay, utensils, straws. Let's leap into making reusable bags now.
hmm Well, I think the first thing that we wanted to do was try to figure out which were kind of the most commonly used single-use plastic items, and this is not including
Okay.
like no food wrap or cling wrap, because that one can be a little bit difficult to solve. But like just real tangible products that you can bring kind of anywhere. Or use on an everyday basis. And so that's why we started off with straws. The form factor was very, very simple because it's basically a cylinder that you kind of push
Right.
out like pasta. And
Right.
then forks and spoons and knives, they just made sense afterwards, to be honest with you, just primarily because what do you kind of use with straw sometimes is it's fork, knives, and spoons. And so that's kind of how we've looked at our portfolios, trying to replace everything single-use plastic and kind of building similar sort of group products together. And bags actually just came naturally because I know everyone in the world is just trying to replace bags because we use it literally. Bags have like almost the worst, I
They're
would say,
terrible.
yeah, like they're a horrible effect on the environment, but they also have the worst, I think, duration in terms of use. An average single-use plastic product is used for 15 to 20 minutes. Single-use bags can actually be as little as 5 minutes on average, depending on where you live, because it's a very convenient sort of like product.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
so
talked to somebody
I,
about that, and they were talking about in grocery stores that little vegetable, like the bag that you put produce in, that has like a 1 minute lifespan of actual like use on
exactly.
average, which is insane. Like it's so short.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. I mean, like, especially if you're going in places where maybe it's more urban, like you're walking from, maybe the convenience store on the corner to your home or wherever else, or like, from the coffee shop to your desk, and they'll still give you a plastic bag or something like that. And that's used for like 5 minutes, So it's a huge amount of waste. And so that's why we've expanded our categories into where they happen.
Got it. And as far as your utensils, are you aiming to be more durable side? Like, are you finding there's a need for that, or is it really just like you said, like the 5 minute use? So you get it, you eat, and then you toss it 5 minutes later.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I would say at the beginning, with some of our products, we thought we can just make them for the duration that people expect to use them, which is, 5, 10 minutes, very quick, and then kind of go. But then we realized afterwards, if we want to have, longevity to some of our product, we had to look at reformulations that allowed them to be beyond expectations. So it's kind of like an sorry, or under promise, over deliver sort of like
Yeah, yeah,
methodology.
okay.
Yeah, so that's why we actually kind of moved more towards durability for our products.
Hey, it's Ian here. So glad you're enjoying this episode of Conscious Design. If you want the full scoop on conscious design, what it is, how we do it, how you can do it, Then check out our book. We wrote it so creative entrepreneurs like you can code social and environmental responsibility right into your brand's DNA. You can download the first chapter for free. Link is in the description. Enjoy the rest of the episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Got it. I mean, that makes sense. I feel like people also save their plastic forks and stuff. So you have that group of people that might. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, we definitely have those, and then the people who want to reuse the products over and over again. But like again, we're out there just to replace single-use plastics. If we wanted to go reusable, there was another method for that. But for us, our real value and core is that we want to make sustainability as easy and seamless as possible. So we really do focus on products that are use once, throw away.
Right. Trying to make it more accessible, rather make it the fast food of convenience for people.
Exactly. And it's less of a barrier. It's also like, less work for the consumer. Like they all want to be sustainable, but if you have to put in that much extra work, it makes it harder to get them to adopt a new behavior.
Right. And are you selling more direct to our consumers starting to purchase, or are you trying to get in business? Kind of how are you getting this to the market, and who's really responding more?
Yeah, I think for us, we didn't really have a choice, unfortunately. So we launched during the pandemic. And I mean, like at the height of the pandemic, we launched our Kickstarter campaign in April 2020. April 2020, global lockdown happened. So, it wasn't the ideal time. And then we all know what happened after then, right? And so the fact that I think most people didn't really go into stores anymore, by default made us go towards kind of this sort of direct-to-consumer e-commerce model for these categories, which is very unconventional. Like there aren't brands that people know. Like you're not going out and buying like a 200 pack of straws on the regular usually,
No,
so,
I think Solo Cup is the only one that's managed to make like a direct consumer relationship where you're like, I know what a Solo Cup is.
Exactly.
I have no idea what anything else is though.
Exactly. And so that's kind of where our brand was headed. But that's also, I would say Solo Cup is one of the rare products within a commodity market that we would say is exemplary of what we want to do. Is we want people to remember us, even in these categories that they traditionally didn't care about or ignored or didn't look for brands. We want to stand out and we want people to choose us. And so that's why we do go that direct to consumer route, but we also have the B2B side, which is really where a lot of our volume and our revenue will come from.
Got it. And are you seeing more, I guess, large corporate, small business? Kind of, is it a blend? How's the reaction been and interest on the business side?
Yeah, this might sound a little bit critical, but I would say that I find that smaller businesses have been adopting our products and giving us a chance a lot more than big corporate, which is a little bit unfortunate because I think, there's a lot of things that play into it. There's politics, there's a lot of red tape. And then there's also preferred suppliers. Some of these preferred suppliers people have had decades of relationships with. Sometimes they are the paper and the plastic, producers that they have multiple partnerships with. And so that makes it very difficult for us to kind of get into larger corporate companies while they're also kind of, communicating out to the world that, hey, we're all about ESGs and looking at sustainable solutions, yet not really giving us a chance. So for us, a lot of our business that has been growing, at least on the business to business side, has been with smaller mom and pop shops and cafes. And we really appreciate that too, because I think they really do see the message and they take more action than most corporate big suppliers and buyers.
Right. Well, it's good. I mean, it starts somewhere. So even small chains there's still a lot of straws, right? If you think about the volume, even a small cafe there's a lot of utensils and straws that get used in one. I'm thinking of like one busy coffee shop in LA is a lot of people. So it's still a big volume. It's just not, I guess, billions of straws like Starbucks would be.
like an everyday sort of like, smaller business will do maybe like 1,000 to 2,000, per month. A little bit of a busier one will do like 5,000, and like a really busy one will go like, 10,000 a month, So that can really, really add up in terms of the amount of products that they use, especially straws.
Right. Right. Well, that's amazing. That's a lot of plastic that's getting wiped off by you having this product. Are you kind of looking to the future? Where do you see this going? Where do you want to expand to? Kind of what's your more grand vision for the brand?
Yeah, you know what? The grand vision is kind of to replace anything that's single-use plastic. And I mean, absolutely everything. I want to do every straw in the world, every fork in the world, every plate, every bag, every food wrap, every food container, every cup, every lid, anything that's single-use plastic. I'm not going after plastic because actually, I do think that plastic is a great material when used correctly and for things that do require a large amount of durability. But single-use plastic, I just feel has no real place in the world. It's been abused, unfortunately by us.
Yes.
So anything that is single-use plastic, I'll go into stationery, whatever there is that's plastic. Even those little, the little tables inside the freaking pizza boxes, I want to replace all those. So I think the sky's a lot.
Yeah, I forgot about those little pizza things. You just toss them away. Yeah. Yeah, you should do that. Let's do it. I want to see some sugar cane little or coffee. I don't know if you want coffee mixed with your pizza, but I'm sure somebody would be like, yes, I want the coffee one.
Exactly. I think there's endless possibilities. We've pretty much made anything possible out of plastic. So I think I've got a long journey to go.
Oh, that's amazing. That's a good mission to have. That's a long mission to have as well. It'll keep you busy. Your business will only grow. That's definitely the good thing. Yeah, well, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat about what you're doing. Before we wrap up though, I want to make sure you have the opportunity to share if somebody's wanting to get a hold of you guys, find you, where do they go? And then, anything else you want to share with anybody who listens or watches.
Yeah, so I would say the first thing is that if you're looking for our products, you can find us on Amazon for US, Canada, and Australia. And then you can also find us on our website at www.shopequo.com. And then we're also on Instagram and Facebook. So just EQUO INTL. INTL stands for international. So you can find us on Instagram and on Facebook and on TikTok as well. So we're all over the place. We're trying to be young and hip as well. And then the last thing I would kind of leave everyone here with is, hopefully not just like, our brand, but hopefully everyone who's listening can give sustainable brands a chance. We're not all expensive or difficult to adopt or trying to tell you that you're the worst person ever for not, using sustainable products. We're just trying to make a difference in the world. So hopefully you can give us a shot.
Yeah. And I'll echo that point. It's not as expensive as people think, which is super important. People hopefully will recognize that sooner rather than later. You're not 10 times the cost to be eco-friendly. It's just not there. So yeah, well, I really appreciate the time you took to chat. It's been fun. I love your mission, and I hope to see. Yeah, hopefully I'll see those little pizza things in. So awesome! Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.